All right, here we are with Brandon Pratt, his downtown office for Crosscountry Mortgage. Brandon, how long have you been in this location? What do you call it? Is this the Browns building?
This is actually the Action building. Action owns this. We're sandwiched around the Browns Mall, but our landlord is Action. They're right behind us in the same building. We moved in here in March of 2018.
And how would you characterize the local real estate market right now?
I think it's in a transition. I think it's the best way to say it right now. With the interest rates going up after Labor Day, it really has changed people's sentiments on the increasing home values that we've seen for the past few years and the low inventory and the competitive, everybody had a bidding war for properties, 10 people fight over one property. And now that the rates have gone up and people's payments have changed, people have stepped back, they're waiting to see what the market's doing, and now we're seeing for the first time house prices actually coming down, non-competitive offer situations. And the crazy thing about it all, it's happened in the matter of 2 to 3 months. It's been a very rapid decline. The amount of houses, like I said, on the market right now are just sitting there. You've seen stuff 100 days on the market now, and going into the Christmas time, the holiday season, generally is a slower time in this market as well. So we're seeing perhaps it's time as a buyer's market, with the prices dropping, it's fine with the increase in interest rates because it's better to underpay for a home than it is to have a lower interest rate and overpay for a house. You don't make up that difference quite the same.
So has that translated? So that's been the stock market's kind of been a little bit up and down right now. Is that because of a threat of higher interest rates?
Yeah, that is definitely having a major impact with the market, with the interest rates going up. That affects the bank's business. If bank's business go down, their stocks go down, which can weigh it down. We're also seeing a lot of pullback with the tech stocks. Facebook, Amazon, and a lot of those stocks are also bringing down the NASDAQ and overall that market. So it's really interesting because you'll hear that the economy is very strong. We have really low unemployment. The rates are going up to check inflation. Inflation is when there aren't a lot of jobs and wages go up, which forces prices to go up. They're trying to keep that all in check. So, but at the same time, you're seeing the stock market go down, interest rates going up, which are affecting auto dealerships. I was at an auto dealership yesterday, and they said that things have really slowed down. The car loan rates have gone up dramatically recently as well, and that will trickle through the economy as we go through the wintertime, in my opinion.
So how can you help people at Crosscountry Mortgage?
Well, the great thing about Crosscountry and why we're here on Main Street in Gloucester is that we provide the largest array of mortgage products for people looking to buy a house. We have down payment programs through Mass Housing with as little as 0% down. So if people are struggling to get a down payment to buy a home, which is the greatest obstacle for people buying a house, we have programs through Mass Housing that will give them a credit for up to $12,000 for their purchase of a new home. How that equates, let's say you're buying a home for $400,000, your minimum down payment is 3%, so that's $12,000. Mass Housing will give a credit up to $12,000 for a down payment. So in essence, if you meet their income and other credit criteria, you could purchase a home with no money down. They'll give you a second mortgage to make up that difference, and you'll pay it back over a 15-year term.
And you guys help people through that paperwork process?
We do everything here in Gloucester, and that's the other thing. Why we're in Gloucester, people want to sit face to face. They want to sit down, and we don't just talk about mortgages and houses. We talk about their overall financial profile. When people buy a house, it's the largest investment they're going to make. So we sit down and we talk about other areas they can save in. Is it home insurance? Is it auto insurance? How can we reduce the liability or the burden of a new mortgage payment by offsetting some of their other bills and reducing it and finding other ways to create cash flow so people are comfortable when they go into a house? That is really important for us as well. We never say, here's the most you can buy for a house. We'll say, well, what are you comfortable with? We want people to be comfortable with their mortgage payment because then they're going to be successful in the home, and then they're going to refer their friends and family. And plus, we're in the community. We want to make sure we take care of everybody.
What right now would you say is the sweet spot in loans? Like longer term loans or
if anybody can afford a 15-year mortgage, that is the absolute sweetest mortgage there is. The interest rates are lower than 30 years. And when you get a 30-year mortgage, a lot of people think that they're top loaded with interest at the beginning. Well, it is true that you do pay the most interest at the beginning of a 30-year loan. That's because your balance is the highest. Each month you pay a little bit down of your balance, a little bit less goes to interest and more to principal each month. With a 15-year mortgage, it actually flips around. The majority of your payment goes to principal and very little goes to interest. So you actually see the balance peeling away very fastly every time you open up your statement. Because most people are like, my balance doesn't even go down after a year on a 30-year, but on a 15-year, it's like, wow, I made $15,000 worth of payments and my balance went down, and this is just an estimation, $11,000 to $10,000.
What are some of the other tricks that, like, hints that you could give a prospective home buyer or someone with a mortgage? What are the best things that you can do for personal financial well-being?
Absolutely. Well, first, with their mortgage, make sure they have the lowest mortgage payment. A lot of people get overly hung up with interest rate, and that would be true if you're putting down at least 20% for a down payment, because if you don't pay down 20%, you're subject to paying PMI or private mortgage insurance. And there's ways that we have loans that have no PMI, they have a slightly higher interest rate to offset that. If you have very good credit, there's other ways that we can get the seller to pay for your PMI, so it doesn't have to come out of your pocket. There are a lot of tricks to PMI, so if people don't have 20% down for a mortgage payment, I can get creative to keep the payment as low as possible for them. That's one of our sweet spots here in Gloucester.
Being on Main Street, do you welcome people to walk in off the street?
Yep, a lot of people don't think we're actually here and open for business because we don't have stuff in the windows, we don't have jazzy signs that light up, but we are going to change a little bit. We're going to make it a little more brighter. We're going to have a sign outside welcoming people to come in. We do accept walk-ins. You can come in off the street. You can call us as well. Most of us live local and we can get here pretty quickly. We're also around on the weekends. I usually work open houses in town, so a lot of people see me at open houses. Sundays are the day that most people put offers in and look at houses, so I make sure I'm available for that. That's another niche. Most of the banks in town are closed on Sundays. We're open for business, so you can come by and call us.
If someone wanted to stop in and they have a mortgage right now, they feel like maybe they're paying a little bit too much on their mortgage.
Yep.
What information should they bring in?
A mortgage statement, a recent pay stub, and if they don't have a salary job, 2 years of tax returns. A lot of people who work for themselves, we need to review their tax returns to see how they're writing off their income and how that calculates. So that's the easiest. But if you have a salary job, just a pay stub, we'll run your credit for free. All our services here are free. When you get a mortgage, we are paid on the secondary market. People don't pay for our services directly. It is built into the mortgage that they get and close. But if someone doesn't get a mortgage and close, everything that we do for them is complimentary.
So there's zero risk to coming in.
There's zero risk to come in and talk to us. We'll give you a free financial overview the best we can. We'll pull your credit. If your credit's low, we can tell you how to increase your credit. We have simulators and models that we can do what-if simulations with people's credit, saying, hey, if you pay down your balance $2,000 on your city card, I can tell you exactly what your credit score will go to and how long it will take.
So you could potentially have a couple $100 more in your pocket every month.
Yep.
And maybe, and if you don't, you don't. But all it costs you is probably 15 minutes of your time.
Just come in. It's about half an hour. We sit down and we look at other things. We talk about insurance. We talk about investing in 401ks. This was another thing that I love talking about because that's a pre-tax exemption on the 401k. It's a great vehicle to save money. We'll talk about how the local banks here can provide great CDs or checking and savings accounts and car loans if they're paying too much on their car loan. So we'll really review everything, and then from there we can refer them to the best experts on Cape Ann to take care of anything they need to do as well.
There you go. It's 180 Main Street. Is there a website people can go to?
Cape Ann Mortgages, CCM.com. CCM is Crosscountry Mortgage. So Cape Ann Mortgages, CCM.com.
And I'll put a link to that in the show notes of this post. Thanks so much for having me.
Joe, thanks for having me as well.
Have a great day.